Well, good evening, folks. I hope you're well. Bit of a change from the usual topic this evening. I thought we'd have a general chit chat, and hopefully you'll find it a bit enlightening. If not, it's important to me that you don't find my videos boring because I don't want to be a Me Too. I see so many videos. There's certain people that I watch, but I watch too often sometimes, and they tend to repeat themselves, and it's the worst thing. I think it must be awful for those people who subscribe to such people because, well, there used to be, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Keep saying the same old crap to and just get new people. But even if I've got a very small number of subscribers, I want them to have the variety because it's more if more birds on a wire, isn't it? As one gets on, the other drops off at the other end because. Well, here he goes again. Same old shit, different day. I don't want to be that. I want to tell you and maybe relate to you and give you not some hope that you're not the only nutter in town, but to know that you're not alone. That's what I want. I want you to know that, if you agree with much of what I say, not all perhaps, but much of what I say, at least misery loves company, doesn't it? I love company. But sometimes we get to be thinking us, don't we? We're a little bit radical, we're a bit different. And this is a huge, huge mistake I made in my life. Okay, I'm going to tell you a few. Oh, if I had my time again. Because maybe you're younger than me, maybe you're going to have more of an opportunity. And I don't know if you've ever seen a great film. God, I'm sorry, it's my memory, but I think it's Big Fish, something like Big Fish. It involved a fish anyway. Big Fish, I think. It was about. A man who was dying, giving his sons pearls of wisdom, in his dying day. I thought, well, why didn't he tell his kid when he had all that time as a youngster? Because very often nowadays, parents haven't got time for their children. They're too busy. They are. Come on, look, don't disturb him. Leave your father alone, David, because he's just got back from work. He's had a very hard day, Now leave him alone. Go play, out of his face. And I find that a lot of parents like that. I witness it all the time. And it makes me want to throw up. I want to say, why don't you turn that idiot box off in the corner, you jerk, and put the little boy or little girl on your knee. Wrap them up with love. And tell them that you're so proud of them. Tell them that you're a cheeky little monkey you are, and listen to your children giggle and laugh. How many parents are like this nowadays? I don't see many. Mummy's too busy. She's going out with the girls tonight to do Zumba. Get the fat off her ass because she's eaten too many cream cakes. Where's Mum, Dad? Oh, she's out with the friends tonight. It's their night out. Why isn't she with us? That's the kids too young to think like that, of course, but they feel let down. Well, Mummy, why doesn't Mummy spend time with us? She's always out with her friends. Well, where's Daddy going again tonight? He was out last night. Don't be lippy. Your father's entitled to his time off. And the kids are just, we're married, we've got 2.2 kids, we've done it, we've done our bit. No, they haven't. They think by breeding they've done their bit. And it makes me want to throw up. I see so many couples with young children. And I say to them, and it really bugs them, and one of them's a close family member. I say, how old's George? False name. He's 6. He's lovely, isn't he? Yeah, he's a little rascal, but yes, he is lovely. Yes. You're doing well at school? Oh, he's doing terribly well at school. Yes. Okay. Okay, he's got a lot of friends. Well, he could have a lot more friends. He's, we don't often... Does he have a lot of friends around the house? Well, sometimes. What's George's favourite colour? Oh, now you're asking. What's his favourite animal? I don't know, actually. And you can see them going redder and redder and redder as I interrogate them. I don't mean to interrogate, but I ask the questions in such subtle ways. A little score chart in my head, thinking this woman knows next to nothing about her little George. She doesn't. She knows he goes to school and back. She knows who his little friends are. What's the name of his closest friend? What's his favourite cartoon? Do you know much about your children, really? Because most parents don't. Because they're not bloody interested. They see the kids more often as not as a mere inconvenience, something to get through their childhood. Get through their childhood. I want to know, you see, I want to know why my kid's favourite colour is blue. Or my daughter's favourite colour is rose-coloured, red, really, pink. No. Why did you choose pink? We could have a complete conversation about why that she likes that colour over most of all the available colours in the spectrum. You know, sit on my knee, let's talk. Turn the telly off, let's have a chat. And you do this to other people's children, and you watch it, and the kids love the attention. One-on-one time with their parent. Because I think that parents should be their children's best friend. Not the parent. That's my mum. Who's that? It's your mum and your dad. They're your best friend. No, is often the answer. No, my best friend's Charlie at school. Why is Charlie your best friend? Well, we like the same things. That's a good start. He likes this and I like that. We like similar things, if not the same things. You see, kids develop a bond. Like attracts like, isn't it? And but how sad it is that parents don't really know their children. And in America, of course, the kids are on Prozac and also, these other pills because they're trying to. The kids are too buzzy. Kids have got such a lot of energy. Parents mistake a lot of energy in children to think they're hyperactive. If they're not sit there corner dribbling like a bloody village idiot, playing and going, ugh. There's something wrong with David. He doesn't play video games. He's always got his head stuck in a book. You want to get out a bit more. And you think, hang on, whoa, hang on, fatso. Hark, who's bloody talking? Why don't you take those things you call legs? Well, if I think they're legs. Oh yeah, legs. You want to go for a walk yourself and get some bloody weight off, bunty? This is what I want to say. And the parents do as I say, not do as I do. I cannot stand these types. And they think they know their children. What blood group is your child? Oh, God. I don't know, really. I don't know. Excuse me, I just want to move out the light. There we are, that's better. Oh, I was getting in my eyes. But no, how sad it is that many children don't get bedtime stories. Lots of children don't know what mummy and dad do for a living. Lots of children don't understand, as I said the other night, the concept of money and the importance of, keeping 10% and pretending you haven't got it and squirreling it away and live off 90%. And when you've learned to do that, keep 20% back and live off 80%. And, sooner or later you see the little munchkins, by the time they're 15, will have enough money to buy themselves something quite spectacular. That's the richest man in Babylon story, isn't it? And how many children get read the fable of the richest man in Babylon? Rumpelstiltskin. We've lost the ability because as parents now and adults, even older siblings don't spend the time with the younger ones. Oh God, no, I don't knock her out, my sister. Do me a favour. Oh, she's an embarrassment. But why would your little sister be an embarrassment? It's so sad, isn't it, that children, I mean, yes, okay, siblings don't often want to play with each other. Some siblings are poles apart in their characters, aren't they? But the thing is that girls will gravitate towards their fathers, strangely enough. And boys will gravitate towards their mothers. That's typical. Okay. But nowadays there doesn't seem to be much gravitating at all. It's repelling. The parents too busy. We've all got 24 hours in a day. This is the point, and we criticise and condemn our children, often in full earshot of their friends, and belittle them in front of their friends. Oh, you know, sure, yeah, wait till I get back, I'll talk to him. And scream at the kid when he's outside with his mates, his little mates playing marbles, maybe. And look, get inside, get inside. You wait. And you scold them in front of their friends. Oh, I'm off to work now. If I wasn't going to work, you wait till tonight. And that kid's going to fret all day long, isn't he? Because you've embarrassed him in front of his friends. He's lost his street cred, that's for sure. And all the kids at school, what's good? Oh, God, I heard your dad this morning ripping one. Wouldn't like to be you when you get home. The kids fretting, as though they haven't got enough on their plate, living amongst the New World Order Brigade. Not that they're probably aware of that by now, but you and I are. But the arsehole will go to work and he'll think he's so macho, and he'll come home and he'll be racked with guilt. But it doesn't alter the kid. Where's little John? Oh, he's gone to bed. Oh. Why? Well, I was going to have a little chat with him. Oh yes, I heard you shouting at him this morning. What was all that about? It doesn't matter. You know? Because we often berate children in the heat of the moment, then regret it. That's if you're a man and a good father. And think about this. And you go and you change your opinion when you see your children asleep in their beds. And there's a wonderful story in Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's called Father Forgets. And it exemplifies exactly what I just said and gives you the beautiful story. Buy the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and read. If you just buy it just for that one little story, it'll be well worth it. It's free as an ebook. Okay? Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's not a joke, it's a proper book. And it'll change your life. Because Father Forgets should be mandatory reading for all parents as far as I'm concerned. And I read that when I was 23. Yes. But do you know what? Father Forgets didn't teach me a lesson. I just agreed with it because I was already doing it. Because my dad read me bedtime stories. I was my father's best friend from the day I was born. And he showed it. I had 4 older brothers, but according to my mother, I was the apple of my father's eye. It's probably because I was the youngest. No. He didn't neglect the others, of course, but there was some chemistry between me and my father that the others didn't enjoy. I did. I was obsessed with aeroplanes. I took an interest, you see, in what my father was doing, and he was man enough and fatherly enough to stop and explain what he was doing, and we developed a bond. Much as I love my mother, I was especially close to my father. Yet I still adored my mother, in different ways. But you ask most parents nowadays, ask them about the intimate, not intimate, perhaps the wrong word, but the secrets, what's your children's, tell me what you know about your child. And sadly, most parents are delinquent in that knowledge. And it breaks your heart. And then those children will go on to have children. And they will have children that are distant from them too. And I would urge any young parent to develop a close friendship and bond, not as a parent to a child, but as a friend. Be a friend first and a parent second, because I can guarantee you, if you befriend your children, there won't be any secrets. You can share secrets. And children should never be afraid of their parents, because if that's the case, the children will keep secrets from you. It's best, honesty is the best policy. That's got to be your mantra. You probably already know this, and your kids adore you, I'm sure, because our children are products of us. They're a reflection of us. And I don't want any bad reflection of me. I want my children to have children that love and respect them, because I know my children love and respect me. Children should see their parents as role models and heroes, but how sad. In today's society, we haven't got time even to be proper parents. We expect the TV to do it for us, or multimedia, or Facebook, or Twitter, or LinkedIn, all these other social media. But the kid wants a cuddle. That's all. They want physical contact and the cuddle and a laugh and a joke with a friend. Not just their parent. They want a friend. Somebody who will they listen to, because children will often listen to their friends over their parents. Because they don't see their parents as friends. They see parents as the competition, the ones to be deceitful towards, because I can't go telling my mum and dad that. Bloody hell. Have you done it yet, Mandy? I have, but don't tell my mum. Well, she's too scared to tell her mother. She's too scared to ask to go on the pill or to get mum to buy contraception, because her teenage boyfriend's, his hormones are raging, and so's hers. But she daren't tell her mum. And she gets pregnant. Now she won't tell her mum, but she has to eventually, doesn't she? And there's all hell to pay. It's all her fault, the little slag, putting it about. But if only she had a friend in her mother. Maybe the father was the dictator. Maybe he just didn't give a shit. So many parents I've seen just give me the impression they simply see kids as an inconvenience. Have they? If you had your time again, would you have kids? Absolutely not. No, don't think so. The fact is, they're saying it in earshot of their children is disgusting. But they don't care. They think it's a joke, but it stings the little brats, doesn't it? If your children hear that. They make a joke out of it, but that kid will go and sit soaking in the bath, wondering if mum and dad truly meant it. That she perhaps isn't wanted. Maybe she was, or he was, a mistake. You've got to be so careful and handle these little things with kid gloves. But equally, I'm not a soft touch that reaches a time and tide in the affairs of man and women when you have to take control, because hormones do such a lot of damage, and it's a bit like you've got to pour oil on the water to calm those waves of teenager, haven't you? The storm of teenagers. And very often parents should develop a hand of steel or a glove of steel and velvet. That means a hand of steel with a velvet glove. Be soft on the outside, but equally be prepared to use the steel. Because parents they can't differentiate. They're either absolute bastard control freaks or they don't give a shit. There's poles apart, but what you have to do is strike a middle ground. And the children need to know barriers and limits, and this is it. You step out of line, yes, you can do that. But sometimes, you see, as the Chinese say, the tree that doesn't flex in the wind and remains bolt and solid will get blown over. And children and parents who are inflexible and won't give and take a little bit, fail as parents. Because when the children come across a rock solid tree that isn't going to flex, oh, come on, just this once, Dad. No. Oh, Dad, please, I don't ask for a lot, but no, absolutely not. Do you know the kid will either hate you or they'll say, you bastard. They'll think it. Why? I don't ask for a lot, Dad. Come on. On this one, it's so important to me, Dad. Absolutely not. You know my rules. Well, you know what they say about rules, don't you? Rules are for the obedience of idiots, but for the guidance of wise men. You've got to sometimes let the kid know that you're prepared to be flexible. And it really is a hand of steel, a velvet hand in a steel glove sometimes. You've got to be soft, squidgy on the inside, but sometimes tough on the outside. And children need to know. But the problem is, there doesn't seem to be any rules set nowadays. Kids seem to do what they want. Mum and Dad are just so old-fashioned. My kids have never thought of that of me. Never. I was always up there. I was like a kid with my kids. My children's friends used to say, oh, your dad's great, your mum's great, we come round here for a laugh with your mum and dad. My kids were saying, yeah, pity your mum and dad aren't like that, isn't it? Bloody is, miserable bastards. They won't let us do it. I love coming round. Our children's friends used to, and they still do, love. I've known them from children to adulthood. And they often reminisce about the things they did as children round our house because they couldn't do it round their mum and dad's house. But it was character forming. But it just shows, you see. But my children know exactly what the limit is. And children will love you for it. I can't remember who said it, somebody famous. Yeah. A pinch of honey attracts more flies than a barrel full of pig shit. That's very true. Think about it. A spot of kindness. That's all it takes, because kindness is such a rare commodity nowadays, because we live in this me. Because we're all tuned in, as I said before in my previous videos, we're all tuned into radio WIIFM. What's in it for me? Well, hang on a minute. Don't you think that if you help enough people get what they want, it's a law of laws that you will ultimately get what you want? It has to happen that way. But unfortunately, we become old before we realise this. But you get back tenfold of what you put out if you're prepared to be patient, but keep putting it out there. Because it's true, good things sometimes do happen to good people. But you've got to be persistent. You can't be hairy-fairy about it. I've learned my lessons on occasions. I've had my regrets. It hasn't all been plain sailing. I've made mistakes. I'm prepared to admit them. And I have apologised for my children. And they joke about it now, but at the time I was arch criminal, nasty bastard #1 because I said no. And sometimes I say, well, on that occasion, I was just proving a point. I could have said yes, but I'll grant you I was being vindictive. But I'd had a shit day at work. I did take it out on you, I'm sorry. And I apologise, I literally do apologise, because it's a learning curve. But children nowadays have to accept that their parents are under such pressure, much more pressure, because they have to comply. Have the kids been inoculated? Have they got the right gear? Have they got the latest gadgets so that the kids fit in at school without being picked on as being retards? Hey, you got an Android, I've got an iPhone, look, it's the 6 or 6 Plus, because you're nothing without a 6 Plus now. This is what they're up against. Kids are under such pressure. And the child suicide rate in the UK is quite high. Why would a child want to kill itself? Well, ask yourself. We cannot pick our parents, sadly. on many occasions. It's very unfair, isn't it? It is Russian roulette who you end up with, whether you end up with good parents or bad parents. But I would hope that in your children you engender the importance of learning the innermost secrets of your little brats. Know their favourite bedtime story. Know their favourite story. If you used to read them bedtime stories, discuss it and laugh and find out why it was their favourite story. I can tell you quite clearly that my daughter, she's 30 now, seems like only yesterday I was cuddling this little blondie into bed, wrapped her up. Oh, what do you want to do? The caterpillar story where Cecil was a caterpillar and Cecil was his name. I can remember it. I've read it so often, practically every night. She loved it and it never got old. And we still say it to one another. And I'm 57 and she's 31 coming up. And I often say, when we see a fat person, we laugh at each other and I say, a bit of a Cecil, that one. And she falls to bits because we got this thing going on, man. It's only me and her. This is our little dirty little secret. It's only a bond that you have. When you develop bonds with your children, I have a lovely similar bond with my wife in many ways and my son. And it's all about having these special little moments of intimacy only you two know. It's just, even my wife, what are you going on about Cecil for all the time? Doesn't matter. It's our thing. And my daughter says, "Yeah, Mum, mind your own business." And she can get away with it now. My mum says, "Well, okay, yeah, I think she knows." Not fessing. We have such fun. I didn't want my children to leave home. They cost me a fortune. Oh my God. I'm suffering right now as I listen to me of empty nest syndrome. Oh yeah, baby. I got more money than I know what to do with now because I don't have to spend it on the kids. Okay. I got more time on my hands to do things I want to do, but I want to do them with my kids. My wife does her own thing. Not that we don't talk. Yeah. I don't want to crowd her because she deserves a bit of rest and peace after the trauma of raising children to adulthood. And it is a trauma. It's a bloody minefield, isn't it? Guiding the little suckers before they get blown up by stepping on a mine, like getting a teenage pregnancy or having fights and ending up in prison or getting a drug addiction. Look at the dangers that face our children on a daily basis because it's a war zone out there now. And everybody wants their attention and their money and their, look into my eyes. And you've got to be the inoculation for your children. That's what you've got to. Children have got to come home to a serene environment where they can say, oh, hi Dad, hi Mum, and come and give you a kiss. No matter what age they are. Give your kids a kiss. Because if you become your kid's best friend, that's the best parent you can be. Because there are so many parents now who see their kids as an inconvenience and an expense, a pain in the ass. Well, they made them. The children are like that because it's the parents' fault. I'm sorry to say, but it's true. Garbage in, garbage out, or garbage out, garbage back. And what you see in your children is a reflection of you. That's true because who else would they learn off most of the time, where they spend majority of their time? Because people become a product of their environment. It's like a stem cell, like Dr. Bruce Lipton said. You know a stem cell. It's a cell that has the ability to turn itself into anything. Okay, so if you get let's say it's a stem cell, and you mix it with blood, and you want it to be bone, you mix it with blood, and you know that it's come from a stem cell from a bone, but maybe you alter the blood, you alter the environment in which to grow it, and it doesn't become bone, it becomes cartilage. Because the environment's different to what it should be in. Yeah. But you could also turn that cartilage into skin by changing the environment again from that original stem cell. Because it isn't, in fact, it's a stem cell, it's a raw ingredient of a piece of human tissue. But it, depending on what solution it grows in, its environment, will dictate the outcome of what it becomes. And our children become just like us. That's so true. Every child born is a stem cell, and you'll see exactly what their parents are like by looking at the children and listening to the children and watching their interaction. And it's never let me down. But then, oh shit, you find the kids are being adopted. Joking. But it's very true, isn't it? At the end of the day, people are exactly in a station in life by the environment they're brought up in. That's the biggest influence. The people they mix with, the books they read, the information they read and believe. Okay. And for the most part, the decisions they make. That will determine. You can get two children, twins. Bring one up in the cave and bring one up in the sunshine. In 10 years' time, put them together. Yeah. And you'll see a difference. Of course you will, because their environment's been different. One's been brought up in the dark, the religion zone. And the other one's seen the light and isn't religious. And has never been brought up with religion. Yet, they're twins. They've got the same DNA structure, but it's not the DNA. In this case, the DNA has been altered by their environment. DNA is just a blueprint. It's inactive. It's just a code. It's like looking at when you're going to build a model aeroplane or a plane, you get a blueprint, and the architects have done it, and you look at it, whether it be a building or something, you say, this is it. But you can build the building on quicksand, or you can build it on rock solid ground, and you can build it with low grade materials or high grade materials, depending on, well, the materials and the ground. This is all part of the environment. And one building will be upright and perfect and wonderful, and a building from the same blueprint, again built over there on the rock solid ground, will be fantastic. But they're two totally different buildings, because this one's got a future and this one hasn't. But the blueprint, the DNA, had nothing to do with it, because it's the environment. If you adopt a child from Vietnam, a newborn baby from Vietnam, it'll have Vietnamese DNA. But you bring it up in the UK as a white child, with white parents, with Christian values, if that's your thing, in an environment of Great Britain, the chances are it'll have an English accent, it'll speak English, the baby, will grow into somebody who just happens to look Vietnamese. That's all. Can't help that. But in here, she'll think like a Briton. So we are a product of our environment. But sadly, we don't spend enough time with our children. We think we can throw money at them and they'll respect us. We can buy them things and they'll respect us. We just want them to love us. Oh, please love me. I'll buy you this and I'll get you that. If you're really good, I'll get you one of them. You're actually buying their affection. Because I know, Jenny, I know I'm out with the girls tonight, and yes, gym on Thursday and bridge on Friday. Yes, me and Dad are very busy. I've got a nice car for you. The kid doesn't want the car. The kid wants you. And it wants to be your friend. She wants to be your friend, Mummy. She wants you to take her, just you and her. Go out and have a girls' night out together. Just you and your daughter. Go out and have a girls' night out. And treat her like a friend, not like a daughter. and let her speak to you like a friend and become friends. Your life will be so much easier. You won't row as much. And it's the same with the men and the boys. It used to be that children, the boys in any family, would see daddy as a role model. Dad, how do you use an electronic test meter? Because I don't bloody know. No. Dad, can you show me how to build this and how to use a wood plane and how to make something in the garage? Oh, to be honest, son, it's cheaper to buy it. It's a stock answer because he's too busy reading the paper or watching the match, isn't he? But where? And children used to have to look at their parents as role models. The girls can't cook nowadays. It's not a case of can't cook, won't cook. It's a case of I can't cook. I want to cook, but nobody's shown me how. And I didn't do domestic science at school, Mum. Can you please show me how to make scones? How do you say it? Can you show me, Mum, how to bake a cake? Well, the sad news is most mothers don't. They go and buy them in bloody Tesco's. Well, it's more economical, Mandy. It's cheaper to buy one. Tell him you made it. No, but there's... Do you know, so some poor sod's going to marry that young girl. She might be wonderful, but she can't bloody cook. Because nobody's shown her. Because parents nowadays are not transferring life skills. Because the parents don't have life skills to share. Oh, it's all on the net now. You can look at a YouTube video. If you want to do something, check it out on YouTube. That doesn't cut it with me. Watching somebody do it is no guarantee you can do it yourself. I know. And I am going to tell my children. But you know, my dad taught me. Yeah, and his dad taught him. And when my dad died, he took so much knowledge with him, much of which he imparted into me. And my son has much of my knowledge in his head. And he's terrific. I almost envy the girl that's going to catch him. He's got a girlfriend. Jury's still out. I learned to keep my trap shut because I don't interfere. And he'll make the right decision sooner or later. It's up to him. He's 26, he knows what he's doing. But historically, I did guide him. Yeah. But he's nobody's fool. But sad, isn't it? Really, there's very few fathers spend quality time with their sons. He's doing his thing, his son's doing his thing. His sister Mandy, she's doing something with her group of friends. When is the last time the family went out for a meal? Or indeed had a family meal round a table at home, turned the telly off, put a bit of music on, and had a good old banter about how it is. Maybe you should set Thursday evenings as family night. People don't do that. Too busy. She's playing bridge, I'm out with the lads playing darts. I know I'm being a sweeping statement. But it all starts with, don't berate your children in front of other children. Okay, and just before you speak, think once, think twice, and then don't say it. Don't say it. If you've got nothing good to say to your children, don't say anything. It's a story I'm going to finish on, but I want to make a point. Henry Ford, you might know this chap, built a lot of cars apparently. Some would say that he wasn't a nice chap because he was a raging anti-Semite, but I think he had good reason to be, if you read his biography. But the other thing about Henry Ford is that he knew how to manage people. He could motivate his factory staff. Okay, he was the first person in America to start car production as a production line, which means he had to do 24/7 production, which means he had to have the night staff building cars. Well, he had a huge debate with the staff and the foreman of the day staff about banning smoking in his factory. okay, except during work break times, because historically there was always a fire risk. People were smoking and building cars, and there was health and safety issues, etc. But the people on the night staff used to get away with having fags and cigars. You know what the Yanks are like with their cigars, man. But they used to think they could get away with it. And getting caught smoking would normally result in a sacking if the foreman caught them, you see. Anyway, Henry Ford come along one night to the factory to a surprise visit on the night staff. And a couple of things about him. He caught some guys. Well, he went up to a group of guys, and from a distance he saw that they were smoking. And as he smoking cigars, and as he approached them, they saw him come and thought, "Oh crap, we're in for it now. We're going to get sacked." And they all put the fags out and nipped them, put them in the pocket, the cigars, in the pocket. And God, you know, God, he's going to smell the cigars. Oh, but that's it, lads. We're history. Here he comes. Here he comes. And Henry Ford came up and said, "Hi guys, how's it going?" "Oh, you all right?" "Yeah." He says, "Tell me," he says, how Henry Ford said to this guy, "what's the big 64 number on the wall that somebody's chalked up on there?" That was the day staff." "Well, what's the meaning of the 64? He says that's how many cars they reckon they produced in the day. So they set as a goal, "We're going to beat that, aren't we, lads? Yeah, we're going to do 67. "Do you think you'll do it?" Henry Ford said. "Oh, yeah. Because we have a thing about beating the day staff." "Yes, and what'll happen the next day, of course, is that number will go up and up and up." And Henry Ford thought that was a fantastic idea. He was very pleased. He said, "Well, good luck. Good luck on that, chap. What a great idea. Keep up the good work, lads." I thought, bloody hell, I thought we were going to get the sack when Henry Ford was on his way out. Phew, that was lucky. I thought we were going to get it. No, it's all right. Didn't suspect a thing. They didn't know that he'd spotted them smoking cigars. They thought he'd distracted him by the sales pitch about the numbers on the wall. And just then Henry said, "Oh, lads, I forgot. And they thought, "Oh crap, he's coming back to sack the lot of us." And Henry Ford come back. So the three lads stood there thinking, "Oh, this is it." And Henry Ford pulled out a cigar and said, "I just got for a trip back from Cuba. He said, I wonder if you like one of these cigars, because I don't smoke, but here's one each." "Oh, thanks very much, Mr. Ford," and doffing the cap of the greasy hands. And what a nice guy, what a nice guy. And just before Henry walked out, he turned around and said, "But on this occasion, gentlemen," he said, "I'd appreciate it if you smoke these outside or in your break time, not during work time." They knew that they'd been caught. But Henry Ford could tell people to go to hell in such a way that they look forward to the trip. And as that is a way of kiss slap kiss, isn't it? And if you are going to berate your children or your wife or your husband, okay, don't do it in public, number one. And leave them feeling good about it. Kiss, slap, kiss. Because the last thing you want to do is part with your loved ones, and you really don't know whether you'll ever see them alive again until tonight, until you get together. It's always good to part as friends, no matter what the price. Whether you or they swallow their pride. You can't expect children to swallow their pride. And that's because you have to lead from the front. We can all be Henry Fords, and the world will be a damn sight better place if we treated our children with allowed them the dignity and respect they deserve. And you can either rule by the slap or the carrot. And it's far better to motivate children with carrots. Catch you tomorrow, folks. Dib dib.